Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is just change this f of whatever to be y, and then we just switch x and y, then solve for y. That's all we're going to be doing a lot of times. I'm going to be on page 46. You might be on a slightly different page, but you should be in that realm. Inverse functions, quadratics. And square roots. I'm running out of space. Let me. Yes, we did.
I didn't.
You did.
When?
Unit 1.
It says unit 1?
Unit 1.
The only thing I remember is
Bring me your journal. I'll show you.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Okay.
Just going back to it.
Hmm. So it's one of the topics we're supposed to do on every single thing that we do in Algebra 2. Find the inverse and the restricted domain. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Okay, we just wrote down the question so far. I'm going to write the steps that we're going to do, and then we'll do this together, okay? Just a quick reminder, we're just going to switch x and y. We're going to solve for y. Sorry, that's step 2. And then we're going to rewrite where y, we're changing it to say f inverse of x. Pause while y'all write that down. Okay. All right. If you guys are done with your warm-ups, if you'd close your computer so I know that we're all together, that'd be helpful. Samarian, can you tell me what we do first? It's okay if you don't know.
Oh, so it's the one there.
Yeah, so just draw some arrows like this. If you need to, you can cross that out and put a Y for yourself so you remember that's a Y. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit because I think if you are a little tighter, you might be able to see better. So this side's now going to be X. I'm going to open the door because I can hear the kids across the hall being kind of loud. All right, guys. So we've switched X and Y. Mario, what's our next goal? What are we trying to do next? Okay. Can you tell me what I needed? Can you tell me a step that would help us get there? Do you know? What's on the same side as the Y right now? There's lots of things that are, but give me anything that's on the same side as the Y. The 2's inside with the Y. So can you see how there's a lot of things happening to that 2? We've got a squared happening and we've got a negative happening. So we don't want to touch that guy yet because we'd have to undo lots of steps. What's the easiest thing to move? How do I move it? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Subtract 1 from both sides. Are you guys okay that that's just x minus 1? Okay? So now we want to be able to get this whole group by itself. What's in front of the group? Okay, and we have the squared. Which one do we need to get rid of first? We actually need to get rid of the negative first. So watch this. We need to change that to a positive, but I'm going to put parentheses on this whole side and treat it as a group. And then to flip the sign, I go plus, minus. Okay, so far so good. I'm just going to distribute that negative. So it's going to become negative x plus 1 and then how do we undo a square, y'all? How do I undo a square? Square root both sides. Then go ahead and cross these off. This is going to stay the same. And then Jude, do you know what we do to get the y by, oh, you're doing something else. Jamarian, do you know what we do to get that y by itself? What? Yeah, just subtract 2. Now this cannot go inside. See how this is all inside the square root? We can't touch him. He's going to be on the outside. I'm having a hard time writing because of all the notes underneath. It makes this part like a ridge. Okay. And now comes the rewrite part. Instead of y, we're going to use function notation. So we're going to say inverse of f of x. That's how we write that. Inverse of f of x is equal to, then we put all this in there. Negative x plus 1 minus 2. And we only have one step left. Which is the domain. What is x allowed to be? Sorry, domain is x's. Does everybody remember it's x's? Okay. We're going to do x is greater than or equal to, and then I'm going to show you how we figure out what it's greater than or equal to. We're going to figure out how we restrict the domain. All right. I'm on scratch paper. Is everybody okay that I'm on scratch paper? Can I put this here or is that going to bug you? Which side should I put it on? The instructions or the question? Instruction side? Okay. Does this open up or down, you guys? It opens down. Down, because the negative in front there makes it down. Is everybody okay that that's a parabola facing down? Would this pass the vertical line test?
Yeah.
Yes, but would it pass the horizontal?
No.
Where, if I only do half of it, or if I only do a piece of it, where could I do this piece and this piece? Could I do just the middle? Could I do this side? Or this side? It doesn't matter actually which side you do, but we always pick from the vertex to the other side, and that's the half we look at. So we need to figure out where the vertex is exactly, because the domain is going to be greater than, the domain is going to be x is greater than or equal to whatever your vertex is. Because then we couldn't go any lower than that, right? We could, like if this was 5, I couldn't use 4 because that would mean that it's coming back down. You follow me? So we've got to figure out where this is at. Now this is already in vertex form. Do you guys remember? We just pull the numbers out. So where's the x? What's this number? Almost. It's going to flip. And this one's the same. So this would be -2. You guys make sense? See how we're only using this part so that it passes both the vertical and the horizontal test? So right here we would have -2. Ready to try another question?
Where do you get the -2 from?
Right here.
Oh, yes.
You guys still writing down? Okay, I'll pause for a second. All right. On this one, let's see if you guys can get the first few steps without me. What's our first step? What's my first step? Anybody?
Wait, we tried one.
Nope.
Oh, change the FX to.
Swap them. Yep. Switch, swap, trade. Jamarian, do you know what we do next? You don't know? We want to get the y by itself. What's the easiest thing to move to the other side? I'm not sure what you said. We want to get the y by itself, so do we want to move the 3, the squared, or the 1? The 1. How do I move it? Yep, subtract 1 from both sides. How do we get rid of a square? Square root it. I want to get that y by itself. What do I got to move? This is the trickiest step. The 3 cannot go inside because this is square rooted and this is not. Yeah, so it's going to stay outside. Now that we have our inverse, what's the correct notation? What do I change that y to be? Yep, inverse of f of x. What's my domain? First of all, is it x's or y's? What's our restriction? Greater than or equal to what number? Look at your vertex. What's the x coordinate of the vertex? Guys, what's the x coordinate of the vertex? Just 3, because we change it to be positive. Now I have a little bit of room at the bottom of my page, but not enough that I feel like I could fit the whole question on there without it being kind of squished. So I'm going to go to my next page. Do you guys learn better when we do questions like this together? I just assumed we needed some practice, yeah, before I give you your own questions. Am I right that you wouldn't do this by yourself? Depends. Okay. Try that one. Sorry, let me get it so that it stays nicely. There we go. Try that one. I'm going to give you a little head start. Are we ready to go? All right. Mario, do you know what our first step is?
Subtract the two.
That's our second step. What do we do first to get started? Anybody?
That's the line top of the thing.
Swap them. Yep. And then we subtract the 2. Jamarian, do you know how we get rid of a square? How do we cross out a square? I think you're saying square root, and that's right. Anybody? What's our next step? Minus 3, minus 3. Rewrite it. Anybody want to tell me what to write down? Mm-hmm. What's important here is that the little top of the square root, the little house part, is over both of these, not over the minus, not over the 3. You can put parentheses on that. It makes it a little bit clearer, but it's not required. I like to do this when I'm writing for you guys because I think it helps clarify what's inside versus outside. Anybody know what the domain would be? -3 is part of it. What else needs to be written down? Greater than or equal to. All right. Let's do one more. All right, guys. Anybody got my first step? Swap them, yeah. All right, Tony went. Somebody new goes. Okay, Jude and Tony have gone, so somebody new. That was a really ugly 3. Just roll with it. We're not going to square root yet because of that 1/2. We got to get rid of that first. How do we get rid of a 1/2? We call it multiply by the reciprocal. So right here, just can you put yourself a note? Multiply by the reciprocal. So if I had 2/3 times x minus 5, we would multiply by 3 over 2 so that these cross out. Okay, so the reciprocal just means you're going to flip the fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1 on both sides. What's 2 divided by 1? Just 2. So we're going to multiply this through. What's 2 times x? What's 2 times negative 3? These cross out. I'm purposely leaving a little space. Now, Samarian, now you're right. What do we do next? We square root both sides. All right. Mario, what do we do?
Yeah, I'm seeing functions in the wrong number. I got it.
Hmm?
I'm seeing functions in the wrong number.
Mario,
Yeah.
what do I do? I want that y by itself. What do I got to move? Yeah. And that stays outside. Jude, how do I rewrite it? What do I need to put instead of y?
Negative 1 on top. X
Yep.
equals
You're good. I got it from there. The inverse of f of x. What is my domain? X's or y's? -4. You got it.